जय गुरुजी। गुरुजी महाराज के चरणों में सादर प्रणाम। Sangat ji, with Guruji Maharaj's immense grace and blessings, we are reading his divine Granth, the Light of Divinity. And today, the satsang we will be reading is documented in his Granth under the title A Soldier Salutes Guruji. As a soldier who served Indian Army for over 3.5 decades, I have always been an ardent follower of the professional doctrine that a true soldier lives by chance, loves by choice, and kills by profession. However, it was in the evening of my life that I got an opportunity to realize that there is a world of divinity much beyond the line of control of human intelligence and knowledge. A cruise to the as yet uncharted regions of spirituality was a distant dream for me. But the latter part of March 1999 changed the course of my destiny. The lotus feet of Sri Guruji Maharaj opened the portals of a divine kingdom for me, not far away from where I live, without making me perform any tormenting tapasya at the foothills of the remote Himalayas. I had heard about Guruji much earlier through my close friend, Lieutenant General retired R.I.S. Colon, a close disciple whose wife was cured of severe knee arthritis thanks to Guruji. Amazingly enough, I got the honor of seeking the blessings from the primordial power, His Holiness Sri Guruji Maharaj, much later, after a gap of 4 to 5 years. An army officer took me to Guruji's temple towards the end of March 1999. Since then, there has been no looking back. My life has been transformed in more ways than one, as my family has flourished under Guruji's vibrant and vivacious divinity ever since I first had an audience with him. I strongly believe that Guruji is an incarnation of Lord Shiva and is endowed with a treasure trove of super healing powers that only Providence can bestow on any mortal soul, especially in this Kali Yuga. Let us be extremely clear that Guruji has not only got the matchless ability and the indomitable power to heal some of the most grave incurable diseases and handicaps on this planet, but like Lord Shiva, he is a gifted Vedeshwar, God of healing. You name the disease and he will cure you in his own imitable style. The healing begins to work automatically as soon as you surrender yourself to his lotus feet. In Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Delhi, and all across India and abroad, millions of his devotees can testify to his blessings. After my retirement, as on several occasions, I have been blessed just by his miraculous touch, even when I came face to face with the ultimate truth, death. My wife, Sushila, a diabetic, was blessed by Guruji. Her sugar levels magically came down to 107 after she had had a handful of laddus and mithai, which Guruji gave to her in the form of prasad on the first day she had Guruji's darshan. Her fasting sugar level used to be above 200 mark, and I could not believe my eyes when tests registered the change in her adamantly high diabetic readings. It was an eloquent testimonial to the divine blessings of Guruji. In September 2002, I suffered acute chest pain and was advised a coronary bypass. I straightaway went to Guruji from the Research and Referral Hospital at New Delhi to seek his blessings. He told me that though I did not require any stenting, nevertheless, in the longer run, it would be advisable to get myself operated on at Escorts Hospital. He asked me to bring a copper tumbler and blessed it with his hands. He asked my wife and me to drink water from it every morning on empty stomach, and we have been doing so ever since. My heart ailment, which seemed a difficult issue, ceased to worry me. Saving his devotees from tsunami. I am reminded of yet another unforgettable experience In the winter of 2004, Guruji expressed his desire to bless retired defense personnel before going to Jalandhar. I told Guruji that there are only a few retired defense personnel living in the National Capital Region. Would Guruji like to include serving defense personnel, the human assets of the nation too? Magnanimous as ever, Guruji nodded and told me that he will inform me about the date and venue of the program later. After some time, I broached the subject again and he told me to visit a place near Chhatarpur Mandir along with Mr. Prem Singh, our former ambassador to Singapore. I went to a sprawling farmhouse which belonged to Mr. Clare, yet another close disciple of Guruji, at 11 p.m. It was befitting venue, and Prem Singh and I came back to Guruji and endorsed the farmhouse as being tailor-made for the event. Guruji told me in no uncertain terms to focus only upon consolidating the strength of serving and retired defense brass, and the date was fixed for a Sunday morning, 26 December 2004. Many devotees had, however, already made plans to visit overseas holiday destinations like Thailand, Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the exotic beaches of Goa. So, a large number of devotees asked Guruji to exempt them from attending this program. But Guruji insisted and urged them to participate in that function without any excuse. Since the words of Guruji are sacrosanct for every disciple, the trips were cancelled or postponed. The program was attended by a wide cross section of people, including retired and serving defense personnel. Thus, through his hukam and through its obedience, Guruji had saved everybody because it was 26 December 2004 that the tsunami wreaked havoc on all the coastal cities, most of them where the devotees had planned to celebrate the new year. All those disciples who attended the functions were given a new lease of life by Guruji. Guruji has his own ways of blessings and saving his followers from untoward natural calamities. Guruji is himself the most impenetrable armor of his disciple, safeguarding them against catastrophes. He has the power and compassion to be the ultimate savior, the Messiah of spiritual bliss and happiness that none other than benevolent God can himself be. Three Guru Mantras, the epitome of faith. One Satsangat day, around 2 o'clock at night, when I was just about to leave for home after taking permission from Guruji, in the presence of a handful of his closest disciples, Guruji asked me what I know about God and religion. When I failed to measure up to his discerning expectations, Guruji laughed heartily and then said, General Saab, don't worry at all if you do not know anything about religion. Though Guruji rarely preaches, nevertheless, he then eloquently narrated spiritual verses from the Holy Quran, Bible, Bhagavad Gita, and from the Guru Granth Sahib with great chastity and profound authenticity. The verses flowed from his lips like the transparently clear and pure holy river Ganges comes out of her fountain head. Lord Shiva himself. We were all awestruck and stood in utter humility and silence. After a brief spell, Guruji asked us what we had understood from that. He had just shared from his rich reservoir of spiritual knowledge. When we could only hunch our shoulders in utter helplessness, he laughed, but slowly and with his seriousness empathetically elucidated three divine golden Guru mantras that have become the epitome of faith and guideposts in our efforts to lead a blissful spiritual life. The core essence of his preaching was threefold and is therefore the tallest testament of spirituality. He said, Number one, all religions are one. All gods are the same. All religions preach only one language of love and compassion and service to mankind. Number two, help anyone and everyone, irrespective of caste, color, creed, faith, or religion, anytime and every time. But if you cannot help anyone due to any reason whatsoever, then at least do not cause any harm or damage to anyone. Number three, disengage yourself from outward pleasures, dreams, and desires of the cosmetically alluring materialistic world. Take out some time from your hectic schedules to contemplate and meditate by sitting in samadhi every day in quest of spiritual elevation and perfection in life. To sum up, he finally advocated redirect and reinvest some of your attention, energy, and time upon cementing your eternal bond with divinity and spirituality. That night, I received the biggest lesson of my life, and it further consolidated my belief that service to mankind is indeed service to God. General Kapoor, New Life Go. In 2005, while I was taking a morning walk with my wife near my house in DLF City, Gurgaon, a mad bull smashed its horn into my chest. I was unconscious for a couple of hours. When I opened my eyes, I was in the ICU of the Research and Referral Hospital with my wife and few relatives by my side. I felt my end was just around the corner. My wife and daughter rushed to Guruji in the evening. After listening to the episode, he paused for a few seconds and then gave my wife prasad, which I ate the next day in the ICU. My wife then gave me a photograph of Guruji and placed it under my pillow. Even though I was delirious, whenever I gained consciousness and could, I used to think only of Guruji. Sure enough, by the grace of Guruji, I was discharged and was told to stay confined in bed for a fortnight. But I went straight to Guruji on the evening I got discharged. He blessed me and said, General Kapoor, new life, go. On the way home, I told my wife that by the grace of Guruji, nothing would happen to me. Narrating this incident reminds me of a conversation that took place between Guruji and me on the first day I had his darshan in March 1999. Within just few minutes, he beckoned me to his side with his finger and asked since when had I known of him. I said that it was as early as 1995. He gave me a naughty smile and asked me why I had not visited him then. I was tongue tied. I could muster enough courage to reply. Guruji looked at me with a scintillating glow in his eyes. I sheepishly replied that I thought it was due to my destiny. Guruji then said that had I come earlier, I would have reaped more benefits, but the time was not just right for me at that point in life. The lesson I learnt was that one can seek Guruji Maharaj's blessing only when the time has come, which is governed by the karma of our previous and present births. But a visit to him opens the door for us to enter the kingdom of divinity. In December 2005, after attending the Sangat one day, I felt seriously ill and was rushed to the RR hospital with severe pneumonia. I had a shooting headache and my entire body was in acute pain. The fever had climbed up to 104 degrees Fahrenheit and was reluctant to come down despite intense medication. Even though the deputy commandant at the RR hospital was a close friend of mine and I was getting the best of VIP treatment at the ICU, yet pneumonia was proving to be a indomitable enemy. Yet again, I sought the divine blessings of Guruji, who for me provides the safest escape route from grave misery and pain. I clearly remember that while I was recovering from the pneumonia at RR Hospital, the retired and serving defense personnel and a few well known disciples had, acting on Guruji's advice, organized a public program to facilitate Guruji on a Sunday morning in December 2005 in Gurgaon. It was just next to impossible for an ailing pneumonia patient on support machine to fly away from the hospital like a free bird. But since I wanted to have Guruji's darshan and his healing blessings, I, like a stubborn child, begged my doctors to grant me permission to step out of the hospital for a couple of hours for the function. I promised to return after having the divine darshan of Sri Guruji Maharaj. To my utter surprise, on the day I had the privilege of garlanding Guruji on behalf of the entire Sangat, on top of it, I was immersed in his love when Guruji gave me coconut water to drink from his own glass. I could not control myself, and my tears rolled down unbatably. I touched the glass on my forehead as the ultimate prasad and gulped down the entire coconut water that Guruji was consuming. I thereby quenched the eternal thirst for my parched soul. Honestly speaking, my taste buds had never ever savored anything sweeter than that coconut water before. For me, it was the nectar of heavenly blessings. I could only pay my humble tribute to Guruji through offering him the garland of my overwhelmed emotions. Needless to say, I recovered much faster than expected and got back to work as fit as a fiddle. All these magical episodes have convinced me that Guruji is the ultimate truth. He expects nothing from his disciples except unconditional surrender. Complete surrender means complete healing, with partial surrender means partial healing. Guruji had also blessed my daughters Pooja and Aarti. He had been he had even advised a suitable match for my elder daughter Pooja, now happily married. He told my wife to visit US through it was a distant dream for us at that time. We told Guruji that Aarti was in Ghana, but he insisted that we take the trip. Sure enough, a couple of days later, Aarti gave us the wonderful news that she was in the family way and was thinking of going to New York, as her husband had got a new job there. Without hesitation, I told them to pack their bags and that my wife would also join them at the time of delivery in New York. True to Guruji's words, we not only traveled to the US on 3 occasions, but also had a whale of a time there. Incidentally, on the first US visit, my wife was rushed to a New York hospital due to diabetes. I again went to Gurgaon to seek Guruji's blessings for my wife, suffering miserably at the hospital. Guruji simply smiled and said there was no cause for worry. My wife would return home in a couple of days. 2 days later, thanks to his blessings, she came back home. Blessings at his lotus feet. The holy blessings of Guruji can make the blind see, the lame dance, and barren bear children, and the mentally and physically challenged spring back to life and smiles. He has cured his followers of the stubborn AIDS and heart and cancer diseases. Those who are kept alive by the state of art ventilator systems in hospitals get a new lease of life. No power other than the true incarnation of Lord Shiva in this Kali Yuga can give to these disciples holy prasad in the form of simple yet blessed tea and langar. His disciples partake these prasad religiously as a sacred medicine to cure all diseases and insist on the concept of healing through sangats, devotional congregations, where satsangs take place. For a soldier like me, my Brahmastra, Panikya, to help the ailing and disabled, the needy, the deprived, and the deserving and handicapped, the talented but traumatized, is to simply show them the gateway to the majestic spiritual darbar of Guruji. An unfathomable ocean of spiritual peace, serenity, chaste happiness, and enlightenment flows like a gentle river of blessings from the lotus feet of Sri Guruji Maharaj himself in the form of positive healing vibrations and divine blessings. It is a good karma and unseen fate that make us relish this magnificent ocean of blessings from Guruji. Either you can immerse yourself in this blissful ocean of love, or you can swim across to the ultimate destination of moksha by the blessings of Guruji alone, based upon the karma of your past and present births. All one needs to do is a wholeheartedly surrender and take a holy dip in this vast ocean to see the magic of Guruji's blessings, one birth after another. Today, my whole world revolves entirely around Guruji, who is not only God but the vast world when it comes to revealing the unknown realms of my spiritual odyssey en route to salvation or moksha. For a mortal soul like me, the invigorating fragrance and benign presence of my Sri Guruji Maharaj are a blessing in themselves. His Holiness Sri Guruji Maharaj is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. He knows in details and previous, present, and future births of all his followers. He helps each of his followers in attaining spiritual elevation and divine bliss, quite akin to God Himself. Believe me, miracles do happen, but only to those who believe in them. One needs to keep the windmill of good karma consistently churning out positive vibration and have an unshakable faith in His holiness. And above all, like me, one must be a true soldier and fighter in pursuit of spiritual salvation in excellence, even under testing climates in alien and forbidden terrains. My soulful salutation to His Holiness Sri Guruji Maharaj is utter humility and surrender to His lotus feet. Shukrana Guruji, Ben Shukrana. Sangaji, this is satsang of Lieutenant General retired C.K. Kapoor. While reading the satsang, I must have made a lot of mistakes. So, with folded hands and bowed head, I seek forgiveness from Guruji and all of you. Thank you.